Jason in Seattle writes to me, "Hi, Paul." Hey, Jason. I'm sure this question has been asked before, but here goes. Over the past several years, I went from listening to music on my AVR through a pair of GR Research MTM floor standards to make some hefty investments in time and money in a do-it-yourself tube preamp and a Akitaka Class AB amp, and most recently a Pass-inspired Class A amp. The inclusion of the Class A amp had a much bigger difference in the sound quality than I expected, and was a bigger improvement than my jump from the AVR to the Akitaka Class AB amp. This difference was noticed by several people who have heard both amps. However, there is a lot of somewhat objective evidence that suggests that there is no appreciable difference between amplifiers when the level is matched. How can I reconcile the objective part of my brain that tells me there is little to no evidence of any difference between amplifiers with my admittedly subjective experience of a much more enjoyable sound experience? This is a pretty common question, and as human beings, we struggle, right? Because we get these conflicting stories, we get the experts that come in and tell us this or that, and I marvel at it all the time. So I wrote a post the other day on this very subject, and I said in the post, how often do we question our taste buds? Right? I mean, I'll pick something up and eat it and go, yum, yum, that's good. You pick it up and eat it and go, I don't like it. Do we need some professor or some measuring equipment to tell us why? No. You like it? I don't. It's a subjective experience. No questions asked. Or smell. I smell it. You smell that? Nope. We're okay with that. But with your ears, he hears a difference here, and we plug this equipment in, and there's a difference there. We can't let that go because we have to say, wait a minute. We're being told that this is identical. We're being told that this amp has distortion so low, and we have proven that if the distortion is below a certain point, we will not hear a difference. So two amplifiers that have distortion below, say, 0.001, right? So that's, way down there. We have studies that I believe that are absolutely true that show that if we can't hear distortion at something below 0.1%, let alone 0.01 or 0.001, we literally can't hear it. There isn't enough to hear it. Therefore, there couldn't be a difference. Well, that's silly. That's like saying we can only detect 1% change in, pick something, sugar. And anything below that, we can't detect. So here's two foods. You taste each one, and each one has the difference of 0.1 sugar, but they taste different. And you go, how could that be possibly true? The difference is in the sugar. Well, maybe you're not accounting for all the differences. So when we go back to audio, what makes that have lower distortion? Well, in many cases, it's a lot of feedback. Now, I've done test after test, and I can tell you that an amplifier with no feedback and a distortion spec of 0.01 or below sounds very different than an amplifier with the same distortion spec but has a lot of feedback. They sound entirely different. And we can show measurements that have, the rising edge on a square wave with a lot of feedback looks different than it does without feedback, all kinds of things. It isn't that simple. So, best thing to do, trust your ears. Best thing to do, trust your taste buds. It's all that matters anyway, right? That's best I got, buddy. Hope that helps. All right, thanks.